It's another major honor for Sandra Oh this weekend, presented by Julie Payette, no less. Oh accepted the Governor General's Performing Arts Award, recognizing the extraordinary work of an artist over the past year. Extraordinary may even be putting it mildly for this hardworking and highly respected Canadian actor. This has been the year of Sandra Oh.
Well, that was fun.
It was fun.
Should we head home?
No, there's a lot more.
Hosting the Golden Globes with Andy Samberg.
I love Americans. You are confident and direct.
Hosting Saturday Night Live while wearing a certain iconic Canadian symbol. She also made history.
I am going to find the thing you care about, and I am going to kill it.
This fall, she became the first Asian woman nominated for an Emmy Award as Best Lead Actress in a Drama Series for her work on Killing Eve. She won a Golden Globe for that role.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to my family.
And if that's not enough, Oh found herself on the cover of Time when the magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people of 2019. On Friday, she was in her hometown of Ottawa to receive her latest accolade, a Governor General's Performing Arts Award. I met up with Sandra Oh in Ottawa.
It's so wild to be back in this building.
Because you performed in here.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Not only performed, it's like I grew up, in Nepean, so all shows, all these things were here at the NAC, so it's really wild to be back and walking down these halls.
It does feel like you are having a moment. Does it feel like that to you?
It's tricky. There's moments where I feel like I have been able to process it only after, like there was I just started the year like hosting the Golden Globes. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. So the only when I was able to like experience it after it was done in some ways, because I had done my job and it was over.
Yeah.
And that's when I really felt like I was able to like enjoy it and say, oh, great, I accomplished that. It was great.
You took a little moment that I think was unexpected to some people.
Because I see you. And I see you. All these faces of change. And now, so will everyone else.
I knew when I was writing it and working with the writers, it could possibly be some of the most important words that I say, because it is such a large platform. And what I just wanted to do is to get the piece of truth that I do believe is that change is slow, but I'm experiencing it because I have been in rooms like that before.
Yeah.
And I know I've been the only person of color in a very wide radius.
Yeah.
So the fact that I knew that Crazy Rich Asians and Black Panther was in the room, as well as Roma, I needed to address it.
Where do you assess where we're at with that?
I've been asked this question
Yes, I know you
often,
have,
like
sure.
where are we?
Yeah.
And I don't want to give some sort of impression that lets people off the hook. You know what I mean? Because
we're done now.
We're done now.
Right.
Because a lot of people thought that we were done now and that women are equal.
Yes.
By the way, it's not done. We're still in the
very much.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're in the whole tapestry of it, and it just happens to be that you are this one thread. You are aligned with other people in this thread, and last year or this year, it's like your thread is bright red.
When you think back, though, from when you got to LA and people weren't even letting you in the room and were telling you how you should look and all those things, how do you compare those moments to where you are now and where the industry is now?
I remember going down there, so this is the summer of '95, and meeting this one agent. And basically, to put in a nutshell, she said, basically go back home to Canada and go get famous, and then maybe you can come down here. At that point in my career, there's a lot of things that had already happened, and in what you imagine is a natural progression of a career, right? And I'm relating it to the natural progression of a white actress, that this should be somewhat of I'm trying to go the similar road, and someone is absolutely telling you, there's no space for you here. And I remember being so upset, because all those things that you feared was happening. Someone who has this authority is telling you all those things that are in your head that you feel, that you also do exist, are real. So you should probably just give up. So then you jump to, when did I get this job? When did I get Killing Eve? 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, 17.
Yep.
And I'm reading this script, and I've talked about this before, and I actually couldn't figure out what part I was playing.
Yeah, you couldn't see yourself doing it. Yeah.
What does your pen? 1, 2, 3, 4.
To be jarred like that it's like, oh, I think that my persona and my identity is to move us along, and how deeply I am still affected by something that one of the pieces was that meeting with that woman in 1995. So that's where I feel like progress is slow, because really it has to be internal.
Yeah.
It really, I feel it has to be so deeply internal. It's what we are able to give and teach the next generation, because there's just too much history and unconscious history that we are not necessarily in control over.
So when you got that job, because I mean you were very well, I mean you're very well known here, obviously, but Grey's Anatomy opened up a whole other world to you. But then something happened with this program, I would say, where you sort of, I don't know, what would you say?
What would you say? No, because when you're saying something happened, what do you mean by that?
I don't know. I think it was an unexpected place to see you. I
Why?
think that's,
or how?
because you were sort of kicking ass a little bit. And two women in those roles kicking ass was sort of surprising to me. I don't know, is that what what you were going for?
No, the only thing that I think, the only thing that matters is really what I was interested in.
Yeah.
And that's like the beautiful and the precious, and the part of the work of being an artist is to be selfish like that. And as long as it feels truthful, you go in full force.
Right.
As well with the comedy. Because it's not necessarily that the comedy is easier to do at all. At all.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Sometimes it's just like, oh, we're not getting it, or you're not actually, and you know when you get it or you don't.
So that's a good segue into SNL, where as a host of CBC's The National, I was very happy to see you in the T-shirt.
Did you? I was just
we were all like, yes.
I was like, oh, I noticed particularly Don Cheadle was wearing, like, making a choice of what he's going to wear. Like, what are you going to kind of transmit out there? And I was like, okay, I have three opportunities. What am I going to do? I'm going to do a shout out to my Canadian peeps.
That was
and I'm going to
good.
shout out to my Asian peeps.
Yeah.
And yes, that was. And I just thought, no one's going to really know this unless you're from Canada.
The game is simple. Each of you will get one of these marshmallows. You can eat it at any time, but whoever lasts longer will get a second.
I ate my marshmallow. I'm sorry, were we starting?
Yeah.
Was it scary?
It's so scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like in some ways I have or I had thought that I had somewhat of a persona of someone who's, who's gutsy and is like,
Cool.
I'll take that on that. Terrifying. It's terrifying. It's really hard.
Was that one of those moments over the past couple of years where you thought to yourself, holy crap, like I am here? Like, or were you able to process that?
While it's happening, it's too much of a freight train that is going ahead, that all you want to do is just make sure that you hit the joke. But then when it's done, great.
A good high.
The high is so high. Then you understand why it's a very tough gig, SNL.
Yes.
And I just bow down to all of them.
Yeah. I want to talk about you being on the cover of Time, because I did hear you talking about how your parents then realized that you were famous.
Mom. It was Mom.
It was your mom. It took that to get her to...
Yes. I actually don't think she's ever...
She was at the Golden Globes. She's everywhere with you.
Yes, exactly. But
Yeah.
I don't think that she's ever, not that you ever would say, oh, darling, you're famous. You know what I mean? But I was just so hilarious. It was so hilarious that in her eyes, she suddenly recognized, you're famous because you're on the cover of Time magazine.
But last question about why we're here. What does that mean to you, having the Governor General's Performing Arts Award? Coming back to the place you grew up, the place you started, the country that loves you and owns you so hard.
Good.
What does it mean to get that recognition when you've had many, many things and you're, you know, what is it? Is it different in some?
It is, because I can't deny that a career has happened. I have to look at it, and it also, it forces me to, because I'm also not really good at this, to be proud of things. To say, you know, that happens. You know, and
Why are you not good at that?
have you met my mother?
I haven't. I've
sorry,
seen
Mom.
her. I've seen her.
Terrible. I don't know. I do actually think it might be something a little cultural.
Yeah.
I think it's also in the Canadian culture as well.
Yes. Oh, I do. I 100%
I think
agree.
I think it's definitely, you know, I got a double whammy. It's like, you know, you're Canadian and Asian, so the ability to kind of access that that self-recognition is, I gotta work and reach for that. But these are the moments that kind of put that into focus.
Yeah. It's a joy to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you
Nice
so
to
much.
meet you.